So today I'm going to be taking you through the steps I took to paint my 10mm Empire Knights by Minirat Studios. The first thing I did was spray the models with Autotex aluminium spray paint. I then used a Vallejo Heavy Red to paint the cloth, half of the feathers on each model, purity seals and the shafts of the spears. I used Army Painter's Filthy Cape to paint areas that would eventually be white like the feathers, capes, shields and banners, before washing everything with Citadel's Nuln Oil. After that was dry, I painted all the horses using Army Painter's Monster Brown. You could paint them different colours, but I decided to go for a uniform look to speed up the painting process with batch painting. I then used Army Painter's Werewolf Fur to paint all the hair on the models for the riders and horses, along with using Vallejo Old Gold to paint foot holders, decorations on the front armour, and sword hilts. I then used Army Painter's Leather Brown to paint all the straps. Be careful to remember the ones under the horse's belly. And now it's time to add a little variation by using Vallejo Chocolate Brown, Army Painter's Fur Brown, Necromancer Cloak, and Banshee Brown. Basically I used these four colours to paint the fur by the hooves, noses and tails if I felt like they needed something a little different. This is the step that adds individuality to all of the minis. I also, at this stage, used a Banshee Brown to paint the parchments on the purity seals, before washing all of those previous steps with Citadel's Agrax Earthshade. Next I used Army Painter's Greenskin to paint the laurels on the riders and horses. I used Army Painter Tanned Flesh to paint all the skin on the riders, and then washed the green areas with Citadel's Coella Green Shade, and the flesh areas with Citadel's Reichland Flesh Shade. Now it's onto the layering, where we leave the shade in the recesses. Starting with Vallejo Bloody Red, I go over all the cloth, feathers, purity seals and spear shafts. I use Army Painter's Barbarian Flesh to paint the skin, Army Painter's Spaceship Exterior to paint up all the white areas like shields, feathers, capes and banners. I use Army Painter's Witch Brew to paint up the laurels. And lastly I use Banshee Brown to paint the Purity Seal parchments. After that's done, they end up looking like this. If you found this guide useful, please leave me a like and hopefully you'll watch more painting guides.